I'm 77 years old, and I need to tell you something that your friends won't. The people closest to you might be slowly destroying your life. And the worst part? You already know exactly who they are. You feel it in your gut every time they call. That heaviness in your chest when their name appears on your phone. That exhaustion after spending time with them. Society tells you to be understanding, to give people chances, to never give up on relationships. I believed that for 60 years, and it nearly killed me. Not physically, but spiritually. It hollowed me out from the inside. At 63, I had what I call my awakening. I was sitting in a hospital waiting room while my wife was in surgery. Surgery she needed partly because of the stress we'd both been carrying for decades. Stress from people we should have cut out of our lives years ago. And in that waiting room, under those humming fluorescent lights, I made a list. 4 types of people. The ones who had stolen our peace, our health, our joy. And I decided, never again. In the 14 years since then, I've been happier than I ever was in my first 63. And I need to share this with you before my time runs out. Now, I already know what you're thinking. But they're family. We've been friends for 20 years. I can't just abandon people. I said the same things, for decades. And every year I stayed loyal to people who were destroying me. I was betraying the one person who deserved my loyalty most. Myself. Let me show you the 4 types, and I guarantee you'll recognize at least one, probably more. The first type, the takers. I had a friend named Gerald. 41 years we knew each other. Met him when we were both 22, fresh out of college, trying to figure out life. Gerald called me when he needed a loan for his first car. I gave it to him. He called when his marriage fell apart and he needed a place to stay. My couch, 3 months. He called when his business was failing and needed investors. I wrote the check. 41 years of phone calls, and you know what I noticed? Gerald only ever called when he needed something. Never once did he call just to ask how I was doing. Never once did he show up when things were good. He appeared like clockwork whenever there was something to take, and vanished the moment the taking was done. Then I had my heart surgery. Triple bypass, 67 years old, staring at my own mortality. You know who visited me in the hospital? Not Gerald. You know who called? Not Gerald. 6 weeks of recovery, and the phone never rang. The man I'd given 41 years to, the loans, the couch, the investments, the late-night conversations when his world was falling apart, couldn't find 15 minutes to see if I was alive. That's when I understood. I wasn't Gerald's friend. I was Gerald's resource. Here's how you recognize the takers. They keep a mental ledger, but it only records what they've done for you, never what you've done for them. They remember the one time they helped you move in 1987. They forget the 17 times you've bailed them out since. You feel drained after every interaction, not energized, not grateful, drained, like something's been extracted from you, because something has. The relationship isn't reciprocal, it's transactional. And the transaction only goes one direction. I'm 77 years old. I don't have time for people who only see me as something to use. Neither do you. You already know who your Gerald is. The name just popped into your head. Trust that instinct. But the takers aren't the worst. The second type, they damage something even deeper. The second type, the dream killers. These are the most dangerous because they don't come at you with cruelty. They come at you with concern. My older brother Robert, brilliant man, smarter than me in every measurable way. And for 50 years, he made sure I knew it. When I was 26, I told him I wanted to start my own business. He laughed. Not a mean laugh, worse, a pitying laugh. Come on, he said. Be realistic. You're not the business type. You should stick with what you're good at. When I was 34, I told him I'd been offered a management position across the country. Big risk, big opportunity. Robert spent 2 hours explaining why I'd fail. The market, the timing, my temperament. He was just being honest, he said. Just looking out for me. I turned down the job. When I was 42, I had another idea. Another dream. I didn't even bother telling Robert. I'd learned by then. But somehow he found out. and somehow he found his way to my kitchen table with that same pitying smile. "I'm just trying to protect you from disappointment," he said. Here's what I didn't understand until I was 60 years old. Robert wasn't protecting me from disappointment. He was protecting himself from my success. Because if I succeeded, if the brother he'd dismissed actually built something, what did that say about him? About his own choices? About his own unlived dreams? The dream killers project their fears onto your possibilities. They gave up on their dreams, and they need you to give up on yours. Your success threatens their entire worldview. It proves that the realistic path they chose was actually just the scared path. And their weapon? I'm just being honest. I'm just being realistic. I'm just looking out for you. No, they're just keeping you small so they don't have to feel small themselves. You know what Robert said when I finally built that business at 51? When I succeeded despite every word of discouragement? He said he always knew I could do it. Said he'd been supportive from the start. The dream killers don't just steal your future. They rewrite history so they're never the villain. How many dreams have you buried because someone who loved you told you to be realistic? That dream is still in there. And the person who told you to kill it? They don't deserve a seat at your table. But the third type, they don't just steal your dreams. They steal your peace every single day. The third type? The chaos carriers. My sister-in-law, Donna. God rest her soul, she passed 2 years ago. But for 35 years, that woman lived in a hurricane, and she made sure everyone around her lived in it too. Every family gathering, every holiday, every Sunday dinner. Donna had a crisis. Her car broke down. Her landlord was evicting her. Her boss was persecuting her. Her neighbor was spying on her. Her doctor missed something. Her lawyer betrayed her. Her ex-husband was scheming. 35 years of emergencies. And you know what I noticed? The emergencies never stopped. We'd solve one, and another would appear within days. We'd give her money, and she'd need more by the end of the month. We'd find her a job, and she'd have a conflict with a coworker within 2 weeks. My wife and I spent 3 decades trying to rescue Donna. We gave her money we couldn't afford. We took calls at 2 in the morning. We canceled vacations. We missed our own children's events because Donna had another emergency. Then one Christmas, I was 61. Donna called during dinner. My grandson was about to open his presents, his first Christmas where he really understood what was happening. And the phone rang, and it was Donna, and there was another crisis. I watched my wife stand up from the table. I watched my daughter's face fall. I watched my grandson's excitement dim, and I didn't answer. For the first time in 35 years, I let it ring. The guilt was overwhelming for about a week, and then something strange happened. Peace. Here's what I finally understood about the chaos carriers. Drama is their comfort zone. They don't know how to exist without crisis. The chaos isn't something that happens to them. It's something they create, because chaos gets them attention. Chaos gets them rescued. Chaos makes them the center of everyone's universe. They don't want solutions. I'd offered Donna solutions for 35 years. She rejected every single one, because she didn't want the problem solved. She wanted an audience, and every time I rescued her, I enabled the next crisis. Every bailout taught her that emergencies work, that chaos pays. Your stability threatens people like Donna, because your peaceful life proves that peace is possible. And if peace is possible, then their chaos is a choice. They can't accept that. So they'll drag you into the storm, again and again and again, until you drown with them or you learn to stop swimming out to save them. I stopped answering Donna's calls at 61. She survived. The emergencies continued. They just became someone else's problem. And I got 9 years of peace before she passed. 9 years I would have lost if I'd kept answering that phone. Who's your Donna? Whose chaos have you been carrying? Put it down. It was never yours to carry. But there's one more type. And this one might be the most painful of all. The fourth type? The scorekeepers. This one hurts the most because these people often genuinely love you, but their love comes with a ledger. My friend Martin. We met at 19, roommates in a cramped apartment with bad plumbing and big dreams. 53 years of friendship, 53 years of history, and 53 years of him reminding me of every mistake I ever made. When I was 22, I forgot his birthday. I was broke, working 2 jobs, barely sleeping. I forgot. I apologized. I made it up to him. Martin brought it up at my 50th birthday party. "Remember when you forgot mine? Some friend?" Everyone laughed. I laughed too. But something in my chest tightened. When I was 29, I said something stupid at his wedding. Nervous toast, wrong words, immediate regret. I apologized that night. I apologized again the next week. 40 years later, at his daughter's wedding, he introduced me to someone by saying, "This is the guy who almost ruined my wedding." Laughing, always laughing. But the blade still cuts, doesn't it? When I was 35, I borrowed money from Martin during a rough patch, paid him back within 6 months, every penny plus interest. He mentioned that loan at least once a year for the next 4 decades. "Remember when I saved you?" As if I could forget. As if he'd let me forget. Here's what I realized at 70. Martin didn't have a friend. He had a debtor. And the debt could never be repaid because he kept adding interest. The scorekeepers remember every wrong you've ever done, but they have amnesia for your growth. The person you were at 22, that's who you are to them forever. They freeze you in your worst moments and refuse to see who you've become. They use your past as leverage. Whenever you disagree with them, whenever you set a boundary, whenever you need something, out comes the ledger. Out come the receipts. Out comes that thing you did in 1987. They don't believe in redemption, only debt. And the debt can never be paid. With the scorekeepers, the relationship isn't a sanctuary. It's a courtroom, and you're always on trial. Martin and I drifted apart in my late 60s. I didn't cut him off dramatically. I just stopped calling as often, stopped making the effort. Let time and distance do what I couldn't do directly. And you know what I felt? Grief. Real grief. For the friendship we could have had. For 53 years, that could have been beautiful if he'd ever let me be anything other than my worst moments. But beneath the grief, freedom. I don't regret the people I cut out. I regret the 63 years I spent not cutting them out. All that time, wasted. All that energy, stolen. All that peace, surrendered. Who in your life keeps pulling out the ledger? Who freezes you in your past and refuses to see your present? You've served your sentence. You've paid your debt. You don't owe them your future too. Now, let me tell you what happens when you finally let these people go. When I finally let these people go, the takers, the dream killers, the chaos carriers, the scorekeepers, I thought my life would feel empty. I thought I'd be lonely. I thought I was losing relationships. I was wrong about all of it. What actually happened? Space. Suddenly I had time I didn't know existed. Energy I'd forgotten I had. I wasn't spending Sunday evenings recovering from draining phone calls. I wasn't lying awake at 3 in the morning replaying conversations that left me feeling small. I wasn't bracing myself every time my phone rang. And in that space, something beautiful grew. The relationships that mattered, they deepened. My wife and I took trips we'd been postponing for decades. I spent real time with my grandchildren, present and undistracted. I reconnected with old friends I'd neglected because I was too busy managing chaos that was never mine to manage. My health improved. My doctor noticed. Lower blood pressure, better sleep, less of that constant tension I'd carried so long, I thought it was just part of being alive. The guilt? It faded, faster than I expected. Because here's what nobody tells you about cutting people out. The guilt isn't wisdom, it's programming. Society taught you that loyalty means suffering, that good people endure, that walking away makes you selfish. It doesn't. It makes you survive. I'm 77. These last 14 years have been the richest of my life. Not because I made more money, not because I achieved more success, because I finally stopped giving my peace away to people who didn't deserve it. I thought I was losing relationships. I was actually finding myself. Every time I answered their calls instead of protecting my peace, I was choosing them over myself. and I was choosing to disappear. I don't disappear anymore, and you don't have to either. You already know who they are. Right now, as I'm speaking, names are appearing in your head, faces, memories of conversations that left you feeling hollow. You've known for years, maybe decades. Say their name in your head right now. Go ahead, I'll wait. There it is. That's the person. That's the weight you've been carrying. I'm 77 years old. The actuarial tables give me maybe 10 years, maybe less. Every hour matters now, and I refuse to spend a single one on people who drain the life out of me. I wasted 63 years figuring this out, 63 years of giving my energy to takers, my dreams to dream killers, my peace to chaos carriers, my future to scorekeepers. How many more will you waste? You don't need anyone's permission to protect yourself. Not your mother's, not your pastor's, not society's. The only permission you need is your own, and I'm giving it to you anyway, just in case you needed to hear it from someone who's almost out of time. Cut them out. Start today, not next month, not when it's convenient, not when you're ready. You'll never be ready. There's never a perfect time to choose yourself. So choose yourself now. Tell me in the comments, which type are you cutting out? I read every single one. I want to know your story and subscribe. I have more truths to share, and I don't know how much time I have left to share them. The clock is ticking for all of us. What are you going to do with your time?